Hey guys, welcome to American Discourse News Live. I thought I would hop on here because I just found something truly shocking, and it is that Turning Point USA's former, I think she was a marketing manager, Aubrey, has just went on X and stated that she her home has been is under surveillance right now. So she posted this afternoon a man whose identity and license plate I've withheld out of courtesy showed up outside our home and was seen photographing our property. So Aubrey is stating, and remember, she used to work for Andrew Colvett at Turning Point, that she is now experiencing someone surveilling her home. So I found that to be extremely alarming. And I thought to myself, if they're willing to surveil her home, what else are they willing to do? So, she just posted this and Candace reposted it and wanted to basically, hi, always be true. How are you? It's my first live, guys. So thank you for being here. And if you hear the dogs barking, they go crazy sometimes. So, um, sorry about that. Anyway, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to take a look. Okay, so you couldn't really see the guy who came to Aubrey's house, but you could hear that he didn't want to give his name away, even though they were at his house trying to in Aubrey's house, the girl who was fired. So I think this was her boyfriend or her husband. I don't necessarily know Aubrey's living situation, but she was the one who posted. She was aware of the situation, um, and they were documenting videos. So someone came to her house and tried to video and take pictures of her house, but then didn't like it when they did that. Um, so I found that extremely alarming. And Candace Owens had actually posted that and let everyone know. Oops, sorry, started going again. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is something that people should be doing? In my opinion, I feel like they shouldn't be able to show up to your house if you used to work there. That's just my feeling on that. So, what do you guys think? I think that if someone's showing up to your home and you were the former employee, I wouldn't be too happy about that. I would um, probably want a restraining order, maybe get myself a lawyer, definitely something along those lines. So, I guess it's just one of those things where if they're willing to do that, what else are they willing to do? And that makes me think about the case a little bit more too. And remember, tPUSA has a lot of money. So they are able to actually hire people and they're actually able to, you know, um, how do you put this? They can pull strings. They can try and look at your house. They can just go out of their way to make your life more difficult if they wanted to. I'm just going to say this allegedly, but um, they have a lot more resources than other people. So I think that's really something to think about and to consider when you think about this Charlie Kirk case is the type of money and influence and power the people at Turning Point have now. They are in the administration. They are part of, the government's right hand pocket at this point. We know that Trump recently supported their Super Bowl halftime show. And yeah, so thought I'd come on here and just talk about that and go through that. I also thought we should touch on just the whole Erica Kirk um, her messages with that minor. I found that to be extremely alarming. So I actually made a Notion board where I was recording all of this because I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a picture and look at that. So it was found that Erica Kirk, formerly Erica Fronsby, back in the day, was talking online to a 16-year-old girl when she was 25. And I think at one point the girl was 15, actually, when they first started talking. And then I think she turned 16. But what noticed, and I don't know if you guys saw that video or not already, but I noticed that um, Erica Kirk, and I've done another video kind of talking about her speech pattern, but it reminded me of a millennial and how millennials used to be. But also that used to um, she used to be kind of flirty, and it seemed like that was kind of how she came across to others, was just more of a flirty look. And then when she was talking to this girl, I couldn't find where she had actually met her before. Like, what was the backstory? Everyone's coming out saying, oh, well, she talked to this girl, but I couldn't find what was the backstory on talking to this girl. So I thought that was super interesting. And just thought I'd come on here and say, I think there's a lot more questions about the Erica Kirk situation as well, because Erica Kirk is now the CEO of Turning Point, but she also needs to be held accountable for what she's done in the past, especially with her Romanian connection tie or her ties to Romania. That's interesting to me. When you think about everything that happens in Romania, it's one of those things where you kind of have to just look around and say, okay, there's been a lot of ties to um, coordination, is the word I'll say, child coordination. And, Erica has a background in the child coordination, allegedly. So for her to be talking to a minor and talking to them with her actual boyfriend, that looks like setting someone up to maybe go to be a model for her. It said she was a casting director. So what did she direct? What was she casting for? Um, and I think it would be interesting if people would come forward and tell us what she was casting for, because we don't know that information. She's been very vague. Um, and thank you, always be true. I saw your comment. Yes, Baron is going live soon. So no worries, not offended at all. I actually just hopped on here last minute. But anyway, yeah. So I just thought I would get into the background on Erica Kirk. And I think you guys have seen some of my videos on, Erica Kirk is very controversial right now. And I remember when I first watched her memorial performance, is what I will call it, it felt like she was just putting on a performance. She didn't look like she was grieving to me. And that was the first time I felt like, okay, something's up with her, but I couldn't figure out what. And I've said in other videos, she acts like someone who's had things handed to her whole life. And so when you think about these texts with that girl, to me, it looked like she was kind of baiting her to be friends, but you shouldn't be talking to someone like, okay, I'll put it this way. When I was 25 years old, I had a 19-year-old sister, and this is my sister, and I didn't talk to her every day. And I didn't want to engage with her and hang out with her, and she's my sister, but like why would I hang out with someone 6 years younger than me? So for Erica Kirk to go out of her way to hang out or to try and talk to someone 10 years younger than her, and I'm talking about someone that's actually my sister. So, um, Craig, you can't hear my video? It should be on. Let me know, because I'm not playing anything but but me talking right now. Um, anyway, so I think that the fact that Erica Fronsby was talking to someone younger than her, and hey guys, if you're just getting here, we kind of switched topics to Erica, but I kind of wanted to cover her because I was going to do a different video on her, but while I'm here, we might as well talk. But yeah, Erica talking to someone younger than her, it doesn't make any sense because why would you want to? Okay, Craig, glad you can hear us now. Awesome. I've had some internet issues when I would try to record my first video today. This is a sidebar. But I had to redo that video 3 times because it was going in and out and it was super glitchy. And I found that a little odd. And I know Baron said he was having issues with his YouTube stuff. So maybe tech is just acting funny nowadays. Who knows? That could be a whole nother conspiracy. But anyway, so I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel, but talking to someone 10 years younger than you, even if like let's say this girl was legal, like of legal age. It's very rare that in that formative time in your young 20s, you're going to scale down and talk to people. Like even if you're 20 and 30, that would be a very rare friendship. Yeah, classic. Yes. Mark, I see what you're saying. Agree. I'm not going to say that word because I don't know how YouTube feels about it, but agree. The G word. It's very interesting. And the other thing is like no one comments like women are not like they will comment you if they're like best friends and say like you look so good, blah blah blah, but you would never go out of your way to do that to someone much younger, that a lot younger than you. I could see why the younger girl was talking about Erica Fronsby and being like, you're my girl crush, blah blah blah, because she looks up to her. Whereas if you are dealing with someone who's younger than you don't necessarily fawn over them, right? Unless you're, way older and then you see a really attractive woman, they may, but it doesn't normally go that way with a 10 years difference. Um, that seems very odd to me. And I'm just speaking as a woman on that. Like I said, if it was my sister, I would probably be like, "Oh, you're so beautiful," la la la. But Erica overly complimenting this girl, it just doesn't look well. It doesn't look good to her. And it doesn't make sense. Now, I will say her calling her boo, that was just a very common millennial phrase. I don't want to make excuses for Erica, but people forget. I think during this time, I feel like people were not as PC. So people did make different jokes. And I think we've taken that back a little bit now, like where you can joke a little bit more. So to give Erica some grace here, which you guys normally hear me do in my videos, she was talking like a millennial, but I can't see a millennial talking to someone that much younger than them. So I think that's where I kind of draw the line where it's like, okay, if that was your best friend, but how did you guys become friends? Did you guys find that story? I could not find it anywhere where Erica had found this girl. And then I kind of wonder, are there other girls out there? I don't have Instagram or anything to like creep around on this stuff, so or else I would have totally already tried to find it. But I just don't think it makes any sense if you need to talk to a younger person. Like they seemed like total strangers. It wasn't like, oh, this is my best friend's cousin, baby cousin. That's not how it seemed. It seemed like the inappropriate stuff she was sending her. That was weird to me. I think as things come to light about Erica, her character is just completely in question. And I've talked about this before, but if you've previously not been conservative and then let's say, you switched as you got older or anything like that, I think that's pretty normal. But to come and act like you were always conservative and you acted like this in your past, I think that's the problem because I think people just don't like to be lied to and people can smell it from a mile away. And that's been kind of where I've stood with this whole thing. That's my personal opinion. But I think Erica Kirk really needs to either do a big PR move where she kind of comes out. Like, if I were her, I would try and come out and apologize and just clear the air. Because if she doesn't give context, I think rumors are going to keep building. Um, and just facts like this. I mean, the stuff we've been seeing about her, I mean, there's screenshots of them. Um, I think that's just inevitable. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how she could save herself at this point. I've said it in the past, but if her or Andrew Colvett would just come out and say what they know, I think I think they still have time, but it's like it's getting shorter and shorter to where the public would be willing to listen, if they're invested in Charlie Kirk's case, because it just looks like they're moving full steam ahead. And the public's like, what's going on? We're hearing all these things about you, Erica. And what does your mom even do exactly? Like, her mom is so fishy. And I think a lot of people feel like that about her. So if she would come forward, I think she would have a better time in the public. So those are a couple things I want to cover. And then finally, I don't know if you guys saw Candace's show. They were talking about the Super Bowl halftime show that tPUSA put throw on. And I actually saw that post when Candace was talking about it. I'm going to pull it up because um, I found that on the Super Bowl numbers, because I looked last night. Sorry, let me pull it up super quick. This might take me a second because I posted a million things about Epstein, which I've been digging into, and that's some rough digs. I mean, that changed me. I did not want to read everything I read, but it was interesting. And I'll probably do some separate videos on Epstein. Yeah, if she came out yes, if she came out and spoke with some sense of honesty, I think people would probably, like you said, feel relief. Like we would all want to hear what she has to say. I would listen. I would listen even if my red flags and, alarms went off. I would still listen. Okay. I'm trying to find this where talked about the halftime. Sometimes you just have to wonder why things are so hard to find on the internet. It's like I posted the screenshot. Okay. So Candace was saying how I'm going to actually share my screen. Let me add this to say stage. Okay. So on here, Milo was the one that posted that you can't fake YouTube comments. And if you have 5 million live views, you would expect the view count to be something like 15 million as soon as it finishes now, after processing maybe like 60 million. Dear, oh dear. So what he's saying on here, when this first happened, when they ended their live, it had 5,000 views and then 667,000 likes, then only 175 comments. So that's what they were saying. But the weird thing was this was on the Turning Point USA one. But on the Charlie Kirk one, I found that one actually looked legitimate. So he had 1.8 million views and 149,000 likes on the Charlie Kirk channel. So what it looked like to me was they were trying to be more legitimate on Charlie Kirk's channel, and something went terribly wrong on the Turning Point USA channel. Like, what is going on here? I can't make sense of that. Even when I have premieres, it will say like there's like 3 people, and then when it ends, it'll have like 20, 30, 50, just depends on. So the YouTube numbers can be super off, but not 5,000 to 667,000 likes. That is really crazy. It just goes to show they may not be being super honest. I don't know if they're still trying to keep some integrity to Charlie Kirk's channel. Um, and speaking of Kirk's channel, if you guys haven't seen my video on why they may keep Charlie Kirk's channel up, I highly recommend you going to that video. But I think I have a theory on this, and I'm just going to say allegedly. I think they keep Charlie Kirk's channel up because they have some type of partnership deal with Salem Media Group. And Salem Media Group is one of those groups that has received a contract with Our Greatest Ally. And that contract basically is for them to promote their agenda. That's the best way I could put it. So just the Charlie Kirk show, if you look on Spotify, actually is contracted with Salem Media Group. That's who it's under. So I think they may have to run that channel, the Charlie Kirk channel and show, because it's under Salem. It's with Salem Media Group. I don't know if it's a partnership. It's hard to find the details on the actual deal, but that's why I think they do that. So I know a lot of people are like, "Hey, why is the Charlie Kirk show still up?" And you'd imagine there would be some clause if someone had lost their life, but unfortunately, it may not have. They may not. So I think that could be one of the reasons they keep his channel going, as well as he obviously has a huge following. But I really think that could be one of the reasons is because there's money associated with it, which is why anything happens, right? But there's probably some type of deal and some type of contract. So just to keep that in mind when you're wondering about why am I still seeing Charlie Kirk pop up on my phone, that's what I'd guess actually happened. And there's an announcement. And if you watch my video, I think I go through it a little bit more in depth on where you can see when the partnership happened. Because I think Charlie Kirk owned his own channel for quite some time on YouTube. And then he got big and then he became Salem Media Group's biggest YouTuber, basically. They also have a ton of news channels. Like I literally just listened to a news channel just on my car and it was Salem Media Group. It turned on and it was like Salem Media Group, blah, blah, blah. So they're huge. This is not some tiny company. So yeah, I think that's all I have for tonight. I did just want to come on. I've never done a live, so thank you guys for being here. I know it's during Baron's time. But I thought, well, I'm better get on here and just talk about this poor girl who's being harassed, in my opinion, by someone at tPUSA. So great to see y'all. I've recognized all your faces. You guys typically comment. So thank you for coming, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye, y'all.